So we're going to move on to our next presentation. We have two people doing this special presentation, and I'm just going to tell you a little bit about them. We're going to start with Susanna Lang. Oh, I thought you guys were going to do a little clap. Okay, Susanna. Susanna has been passionate about super longevity and physical immortality since 1988 when getting introduced to rebirthing. This passion has been exploding ever since joining People Unlimited as a member in 1996. Not seeing an end to life has helped Susanna venture out into new areas that are beneficial to the human body. This included getting proficient in many programs such as Brain Gym, professional coaching, Fit for Learning, strength-based performance, genius coaching, and functional patterns, which is patterns. That's a different word for me. Okay, and Otto Siegel. Otto started his career after receiving a master's degree in education from the University of Munich, Germany. He taught biology and chemistry to high school students in Munich, Sao Paulo, Brazil for 17 years. Together with Susanna, he wrote the book, Yes, You Are a Genius, and co-developed the Genius Profile as the most comprehensive system to evaluate human brilliance. As a master certified coach, he has been mentoring coaches and leaders in the US, Europe, and Australia. Please help me welcome Otto and Susanna.
Thank you, guys. Come with the first slide. Okay, functional patterns. This is, again, the disclaimer. We both are not proficient in the technique. We're beginners, but we have the first level of certification of facilitation, permission for that. And we cannot make any claims to cure the body, to cure anything you have going on, but we can give you insights in our personal experience. And that's what it's all about. We have been doing this now for a year, and here is our experience. Number one.
Yes. So the presentation is mostly my experience and Otto's experience. It's not that I'm an expert in that. So I'm not teaching that. I'm not training in that. I'm a person getting training in it, and I have experienced how it's beneficial for me. And so the reason I started functional patterns, I've worked out in some way or another all my life. And I had issues all my life in one way or another, like stomach cramps off and on since a child. I sprained my ankles off and on. I have lower back pain. So I always had pain. But when I got in my 50s, I felt they were accumulating. I didn't just have one pain. All of a sudden, I would find myself, oh, my ankle hurts, my lower back hurts, and my shoulder hurts. And so everything was like, even though I did the same things, everything seemed to get more intense. And I was managing it. Like I stretched with Dimitri. I was working out with Ilana. I did other programs. I did yoga. So I was managing everything. So I didn't have discomfort, major discomfort, but I always had to manage it. And so I was always looking for something. What else could I do? And I tried different programs like Neurotos, but last year in 2022, I don't know, in September, we ran across functional patterns through a YouTube video that we casually watched. And we started doing an online program, and this has developed now. So it has a trust actually for me. It's not the one go-to, but it has a trust that I'm working out now, and I don't have these, I'll talk about later. How I'm doing now, I'm talking about towards the end of it.
Okay, next, please. Here's my story. You can see it on this picture. I had a very athletic time in my teens and 20s, even qualified for Olympic Games in Mexico City. I paid for the price with an injury, a scoliosis, that was never identified and never treated. So my body started to compensate. You see on that slide with my back that the musculature on one side, the left side, is stronger than on the right side. My body tried very hard to keep me out of pain. Thank you. But it was compensation. And then 12 years of working out with Ilana, working with chiropractors, working with Dimitri. It always managing the symptoms, but never went to the root cause. And then the eye-opening thing happened in August 2021. I got an MRI of my right knee. And that was a shock. Here it was. Beginning osteoarthritis, meniscus tear, and chronic inflammation. The knee was swollen. So I tried prolotherapy. Didn't work. I went to Dr. Keith, many of you know him, got exosomes, no result. So I thought, okay, It took me decades to build this. It might take a long time to unbuild this. So we went to a program called knee over toes. You mentioned that briefly. That helped to strengthen the muscles around the knee to protect it better. But my chiropractor told me, your left hip is 11 millimeters higher. Plus you see your scoliosis. I became aware of it, how it is. Plus my shoulder, the right shoulder is closer to the body than the left one. You can see this on the picture. Okay, I didn't have the muscles to even stretch it out to the full length. Everything was so tight shoulders. Typing in computers, guess what? I fed it like crazy. Anyway, it was my picture. And I knew there was a long-term thing. And that's how we discovered functional pattern. One more thing to this picture. You see the before and after picture. It's not after, it's after a year, after 10 months. You see significant changes, I guess. I do too. Many more muscles. I'm not still perfect. I still have more weight on the left side to protect the right knee subconsciously. And one thing is, you see these folds on my back. Guess what? I lost an inch of body height since I moved here. The body starts to shrink. Okay? We call it aging. I call it, it's a reversible condition. So that's what's the starting point. Next slide. Okay, the bigger picture. We are born to walk on two legs, true? That distinguishes us from animal kingdom. But for millions of years, human beings engaged in standing, walking, running, and throwing. They had no chairs in Stone Age times. However, after the Industrial Revolution, a big thing happened. We started to drive cars and to sit a lot. We are not prepared for that. Logical consequence, next slide, please, is what you call dysfunctions.
Okay, dysfunctions. So imbalances. We have imbalances, like Otto just showed in his body. One was injury related. I have one injury related where I sprained my ankle as a small child and was injured for 6 or 7 weeks, and I also developed like avoiding this. And you start, and you don't even have to have any injury. You can just teach yourself how to walk, and you can walk like that at the end. It's like it's just human. Like imbalances are human. They're not. They're injury driven. There are. We copy people. I know when I was a teenager, I had my cool, and some cool people always sat like that. So I want to sit like that. And so I don't know, imbalances are very human. I always use my right hand. I always step with the right step forward. I usually always turn like that. I very seldomly turn like that when I look back. So we definitely develop dysfunctions easy. Then essential muscles get flaccid and go dormant. That's what Otto was saying. When you sit, mostly we don't use our structure. So we go for workouts, right? An hour here and an hour there. But every single day when I do my computer work, my muscles are not active, mostly. So I learn how to get them active more, but mostly they're not very active. So they're not used, so they go flaccid. And our structure as a body doesn't have the support that it actually needs over time. Then we use the wrong muscles. That comes with imbalances and calcification and dehydration. So calcification was a new term for me, but it's actually something that you hear in Germany. Like when people get older, they're called calcified. Yeah, you call like older people, oh, you get calcified. It's like a normal term in Germany. Here, you don't. But I think what happens is when the fascia that Bonnie described to us gets stuck, muscles can also get stuck. So whole systems can get stuck and don't get fluids to it anymore. For example, if I always turn to the right, and I always turn to the right, I get muscle packs here that may never release again. Certain muscles may not have the ability to release and contract. That means no hydration goes there, and it's open for mineral deposits, such as calcium. So it's very, very known term. Okay. Those are the dysfunctions.
Dysfunction. Next, please. Okay, what is the big difference of functional patterns? It's very hard to describe in a few minutes, but let's do it. We learn to move like Susanna just said. Even how we learn to move in later years, we train for competition at school. The best in basketball, the best in basketball, whatever it is. So the movement takes on a purpose which is not necessarily body friendly. And that goes for a long time. You join a club because you love to play basketball so much. Guess what? You train a certain selected group of muscles. In weightlifting, you might train your biceps, but then your rotator cuffs respond with injury because you never trained them at the same time. So we can go down the line all the time because muscles have been trained isolated, not synergistically together, all head to toe. We will do that with you in a second. So looking good to attract the opposite sex, of course, you want to show up deeply ingrained evolutionary behavior.
I definitely trained for that. I'm
You
still
did?
training for that. I love the good looks.
Cool. I enjoy the benefits. So it goes down to winning fights and winning wars even. Do you know why the Olympic Games were invented in Greece? To prevent the tribes from fighting each other and killing each other, to compete with each other. That's the origin of Olympic Games. So at least that. Functional patterns is a whole different game. They go back to these original 4 functions we are supposed to have: walking, standing, running, and throwing. I will do these 4 functions for the next couple of 100 years. That's what I'm interested in. Functional patterns has longevity written all over. If you're an athlete or not, doesn't matter. If you're injury or not, doesn't matter. We all have individually different functions and different things to recover from to get back into walking. I want to be a human being who stands better, who runs better, who walks better, and then from there, I look better. Next slide. Okay, so here is the summary slide before we go into practice mode. Functional standing walking requires different muscles as we are used to. That's a big learning project for the brain. It requires a lot of humility because you think you are really absolutely stupid. You cannot even walk straight because you walk like this instead of this. That's what you have to go through. It requires use of all muscles, which means if you do a biceps curl, a normal isolated biceps curl is this. A functional biceps curl is this. All muscles are engaged. Big difference. We send actually a message to this biceps muscle, hey, there are more helpers for you. You're not alone in this world. So it's very profound, subconscious as well. That's what the brain has to get. Focusing on the correcting imbalances first. What every facilitator does first with you, analysis how you stand. And we show you this in a moment. And then improving the range of motion. Of course, if range of motion it hurts from here, there's a goal to reach. Without any pain, actually with fun. Okay, with joy. In pain is no joy. It's just mutually exclusive. Improving the range of motion, I have that. Breaking up the hard packs and removing calcification. And that has a lot to do with MFR. After remove the calcifications and start to hydrate again, then the muscles become flexible. So from that point, you see that older people sometimes drink less and less and less, which means chances are calcification moves forward, slowly. So we need to reverse that process. So that's the other one, rehydration. And then the other step after you have rid of all of these tensions, is to repattern the new muscles to do the job. To work together as a whole, not isolate from each other. So that's in the brief nutshell what a functional pattern does. And then last piece, of course, the muscle hydration. Once they're flexible again, they need water to stay flexible forever. So again, long-term strategy, no quick fix. And that's what I like about it a lot. Next slide.
So avoiding pain. So what I had to do with my ankle, like sprained ankles or sometimes just weak ankle, like I could just walk and there was a stone and I would bend over and sprain it, like it would happen frequently sometimes. Or my knee, I have the symptoms of a meniscus tear, or my lower back. So what I would do, I would go to the gym and I would avoid those areas. I would see, how do I feel today? And to take it easy on myself, I wouldn't train legs for that day. Or if I had like from too much typing, my arm would be hurting here or my shoulders would be hurting there. So I wouldn't do upper arm. So I would basically avoid the areas until they would be feeling good. And then I would train them again. So the biggest difference with functional pattern is because you do muscle chains, you never overwork one muscle. You're always working conjunction with other muscles. And I've never, in none of my trainings, I had to avoid a certain muscle group. They were always part and they were always strengthened part. And I've never experienced pain from any training specifically. I always felt better after. I never had this, oh, I overdid it. I didn't know. I felt so good and I overdid it. I was so excited and I overdid it. I had that many times before where I would overdo it, where I had certain weaknesses because I'm so eager. I want to do it. So I never have that problem with functional patterns because I'm trained, I train all my muscles. And it's an intense workout, but it's intense to the entire body, not to one particular area of the body.
Okay.
Just a second, let me just,
Yeah, go ahead.
I wasn't done.
Oh, sorry.
So you're too quick.
I'm sorry.
So I think one thing that I noticed is that inflammation goes down, not just pain, but what I noticed in Otto, for example, his knee stayed like a grapefruit with everything he did, even specific treatment for anti-inflammation for his knee with Dr. Keith, several sessions actually. And it's actually, he says he still has little inflammation, but it's barely visible anymore. And before it was scary because it was very big. And it was just from this training. It happened, he didn't even notice. It's like so normal, he doesn't even notice. So, which is pretty cool.
The inflammation is swelling is down to 10%. Very clear. Now.
Okay, now it's, we are going to try an exercise. The first one. So, are you ready? Okay, you have to get up. Okay, so this particular exercise starts with slouching. Slouch as good as you can, like more than what you would ever do. When you slouch like this and keep your legs like you would normally stand, like hip wide apart, like you slouch. So now push from the bottom of your soles into the ground to make you stand up. From the bottom of your soles, push yourself to make you stand up. When you stand, you see your ankles, your knees, your hip, and your shoulder should be in one line. So if you look to your neighbor, it should be in one line. Like I see Joe, and it looks pretty in one line. Looks pretty in one line. So that's that. Exactly. So what do you notice? What I notice is I definitely feel my gut engaged, my core engaged. And that is actually the core engagement we should be having when we stand. So that is a good experience of what you should be feeling when you stand up. I often stand like this or like that. There's no core engagement. So do this again. So I do this. So now the next step, you create ground tension. So which means this foot and this foot pull against each other like that. So you engage actually your leg muscles. While you're still standing, engage your core. Then you hold your arms up like that. And you breathe into your armpits to expand your rib cage, because we always have it unexpanded. And then we just, by holding this tension of standing, we just lift our elbows. Slow, extra slow, not a repetition, like really, really slow. And then when you lift, like you lift your elbows up, like to this level. And what do you feel? I feel more core engagement even. And it's actually like an exercise. And the elbows, put them together, like not out here, like really together. And then you can feel your core engaging. I feel my lower core even engaging more. So some people have asked me, how do you get core engagement when you stand? I don't know how to do that. That's a very simple exercise, how you can train it every day. I do it like 4 or 5 times. I do it nearly every time I stand. I have that conscious of standing and engaging my core.
Okay. Number 2, yes, number 2. So stay standing. Okay. So that's one to get muscles untangled and relaxed. That's called the hinge. So most of the muscles we sit on are dormant over the years. They are simply asleep. This is a brilliant exercise to wake them up.
Can I make one comment? So this butt muscle you should be using when you walk. I haven't used it when I walked. My butt muscle was completely dormant when I was walking. Glute. Exact. Glute. Thank you. The better term. So this is one of the exercises.
Yes, one of the exercises. You go slowly into your knees, then you stick your butt out to the back as much as you can. Then you straighten out the knees again to get more stretch and more reaching back, more reaching back. Now, do you feel the stretch? Your whole back side of the leg should be stretching. Your glutes should be stretching and your lower back. How's that? Keep your back straight. And then again, hold your arms up. and engage them. Biceps, triceps, everything is tense. As much as you can. The muscles love to be moved, all of them.
And if you would have a functional pattern training, they would say, up, butt, more, up, get your butt up more, get your butt up more, get your butt up more.
More,
Like
more. Then slowly come up, standing up from the soles of your feet. And then move your hip forward. How is that? The soles, thank you. I love it. Still look for the right words. How does it feel? Yeah, let's do a second round. Let's do a second round. Okay, knees forward, hips back.
So it's a hinge. So a hinge actually, most people can do it. Most people do that have done squats can't hinge. They can't hinge, but this is actually a hinge where you're supposed to do that actually in one exercise where your knees go forward and you hinge from here, from your pelvic back like this. And that's enough. You don't have to go all the way down. You can go more, but that's enough. But then you extend your knees here. That presses your butt up. And that's where they ask you to press more, and keep going.
Then keep your ground tension, okay?
You can go more down. Like there.
Okay. Stay down, hold it at least for 30 seconds. That's the magic. And go further back with your hip, further back, further back, further back, further back. Good takeoff. And slowly come up. How does it feel the second time? The body learns. The body learns quickly. It's a huge, huge relief. One more exercise for the walking. We do a step forward. Now do the ground tension again. Oh, sorry. Do the ground tension again. This leg pulls back, this pulls forward. They work against each other. What muscles do you feel? Core, all the leg muscles. Yeah. From that point, you should move forward. From that tension, you do the next step. Yes, that's how you start. You prepare for walking. And then you go with everyone strong and pull forward. Most people walk like this. What a waste. What a damage to the knees. We do this for 50 years. Okay? That's functional move, efficient movement forward the way we are supposed to move. Okay? Next slide. So that's what we did. 10-week online program. Definitely highly recommended. Then the address for the studio in Mesa. Find out more and let us know what you're doing. Okay? Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you guys. We can take a couple of questions. Okay, we have
Yes.
2 questions already.
Bruce.
Thank you. Thank you. So my question is about standing. Since we're not supposed to be sitting a lot, hint, hint, you should be standing. If I'm standing back here and I have my butt against the wall, I have my back against the wall. Should my head be touching the wall to be standing properly or not? Because if I'm standing straight like this, I feel like I'm straight, but I'm not touching the wall with my head.
Such
Is
a
that
good
the
point.
proper?
The question is, what muscles do you have engaged?
Yes.
You-
How do you stand against the wall?
What muscles do you have engaged when you stand against the wall?
You mean like tension?
Yeah.
Your tensions.
Not a lot if I'm just
But
standing.
I
the
think
point.
that's the first step to engage the right muscles when you're standing. That can hold you up. And that's where this exercise, what we did, comes in. That helps you actually get in touch with these muscles. And there's an exercise against the wall that's very efficient to help you actually start using your muscles correctly for holding you up. It's just important that we start training our muscles to hold up our structure and not think we don't have to. Like it's normal not to use your muscles when you're standing or not many
So
muscles.
if I'm standing properly,
Yeah.
I'm engaging Like all my muscles as I'm standing?
Start with your legs, ground tension.
Yeah, okay. I
Then
have
you
that.
feel your core.
Yep,
Okay. Then you feel your glute muscles.
yep,
Okay. And now you lift your body,
Lift
breathe
the
into your
hip.
armpit,
okay.
lift it. And
Yeah.
from that point, you go parallel to the wall.
Okay, and what about
Pump
my
yourself
head?
up. Huh?
My head,
That comes last. Don't worry about the head.
okay,
The upper body is first. No, don't lean backwards, lift upwards.
all right,
Stick out your chest bone
okay,
to the front. And then when you stand like this, automatically you come back and the neck straightens out, but the neck goes last.
all right. So the head does go back.
Yeah,
So it should be against the wall.
yeah.
Okay,
But more important is all muscles are tense.
Gotcha,
The
right.
muscle chains are in use.
all right, great,
And
thank
I've
you.
seen for some people, it goes against the wall, for some people not. It's not, it always goes against I've seen people in the right standing position with the stacked joints. So look in the mirror when their joints are stacked and the head actually, to get them stacked, not the shoulders back, they have to put the head a little bit forward. So it's different. It's really, every person is unique.
Depending on your dysfunction.
Quick question. So when I was doing the hinge and tension in the arms, it hurt my lower back. But when I stood up, I felt great. Was I doing it wrong or just?
I have no
weaker
idea.
Muscles.
How
There's
strong?
more going on.
No.
I have no
One question
idea.
only for check question. How strongly did you feel your glutes when you did that? Aha. Aha. Which means the wrong muscles were in charge. The lower back is too soft for that. There are not enough muscles. The glutes are huge. They are supposed to do their job. And then it's no pain. Thank you for the question. Brilliant.
Otto,
Oh, one
great
more.
presentation.
Thank you.
both. My question is avoiding resistance, avoiding the tension, avoiding the pain. So how do you stack so there is no tension? Can you
So,
approach that?
so the way they teach us is you have a mirror and you literally do the slouching and then you push up and you look in your mirror. Like initially I was standing like this. I saw it in the mirror and I had to actually stand like that. So you get in touch with your own person by looking into the mirror. But the 10-week course, if you do the entire course, that's what we started with. They explain to you, like they first go through 3 weeks of muscle release. Bonnie can talk about it. It's very painful. It's very different to Bonnie's way to release tension. You just do what Dimitri does, 2 minutes on one ball on certain spots to release tensions in very specific areas. And then your body is basically more flexible. And so when you do the standing, you actually have a little bit more flexibility to actually stand the right position without trying to do it like
So
that.
when you're standing like that, you're having no conscientious tension.
Yes.
You're just stacked.
Well,
So
it comes with
there's no weight of gravity. You're just stacked. You're perfectly balanced. Is that what you're saying?
I'm not stacked and perfectly balanced. I use my core tension to hold my structure up. And I feel my glutes have muscle support to actually stand straight. But it has to be in the right, like that my joints are stacked. Here, this.
Okay, thank you.
Like not like that.
So one more thing about the mirror. It's absolutely essential. For half a year, I refused to look in the mirror. I didn't want to see what's real. I thought my movement would be so perfect. It was all my image about my own movement. It's wrong. So I encourage you strongly work with the mirror and look at it.
And the most is the muscle engagement. Don't look for no muscle engagement. Because we need these muscles as we go into our 70s, 80s, and 90s. These are essential muscles for us not to do this and not walk like that. So don't shy away from muscle tensions. Think it's unnatural.
Yep. Okay, so we have time for one more question.
So I just wanted to check, Susanna, you did this because you were having pain in area, and I think also you had chronic back pain. Have you noticed a change?
Thank you. So I don't have, what can I say? I have noticed a lot of changes. So number one, because I use tension more and the exercises get you that you use tension more automatically. You don't do only workout at the gym to have muscle. I actually, when I walk, I see my gut works all the time. So what happens is that my belly got this much less, not because I have less fat, just because I don't let my organs hang out. And I think that's the biggest. So when I have my organs hang out, I have basically no tension. My lower back hurts much more. So now that I have this here and I have the strength to do it, like after a while you get the strength. I don't have the strength to do it for hours, but I have the strength for a long period of time to actually hold this in. I actually have much healthier, I feel much healthier from an organ perspective and from a mobility perspective. And there's more, but that's, I think, the biggest.
Yeah, great question. Just one more thing to add to this about the organs. If you think about it, if you move like this all the time, constant pressure on the organs, constant, because the support to hold them up. And a lot of people have bellies, have a hard belly. That means the organs come out to the forefront. So this relieves organ stress. Finally, they have enough space to expand and to take the prey they were assigned to take. And that is a huge relief for all the systems, digestion, immune system, heart, you name it. Because finally, the lungs have space to breathe. The heart has space to beat. The liver has space for all the metabolic function, and the pressure is gone. So
Okay.
huge side.
Awesome, guys. Thank you.